Imagine you're a Russian soldier inside a tank. You get the order to move toward a Ukrainian city. You look around and see 5 other tanks and military vehicles advancing with you. The structure seems solid. After all, these are combat vehicles worth millions of dollars. But there's a problem. Right at this moment, 3,000 meters up in the air, a small drone is filming you. It's already transmitted your position. The artillery has already calculated where you'll be in 2 minutes. And under the road you're about to cross, someone hid a mine 3 hours ago. You have 15 minutes left to live. It sounds like a movie plot, but it's all real. In the next few minutes, you'll discover what really happened. These are actual footage from battles in Ukraine. But more importantly, they're proof of how modern warfare works today, and perhaps how all future wars will be. 6 Russian military vehicles are advancing toward the city of Chasiv Yar. They're moving in a tactical formation, feeling confident. They don't know the Ukrainians spotted their approach a long time ago. What we're seeing here is something fundamental about the modern battlefield. The concept of open ground doesn't exist anymore. Ukraine keeps reconnaissance drones in the air constantly, day and night, with thermal cameras that work in total darkness, plus satellites. If you're moving, they're watching. And once they spot you, the entire system kicks into action. The first military vehicle hits the mine. The blast knocks it out of control. It veers off the road and stops. Notice what just happened. By leaving the road, it cleared space for the other vehicles to keep moving. Now the convoy is moving in a single line. This is exactly what the Ukrainians were counting on. Within seconds, Javelin missiles come into play. The Javelin is an anti-tank missile supplied by the United States. Its design is unique. Instead of striking the front of the tank, where the armor is thickest, it flies up and comes down vertically, hitting the top of the vehicle, where protection is much weaker. Direct hit. One vehicle is destroyed. The next one also hits a mine. The convoy splits into 2 groups. One tries to drop soldiers in an industrial area. As things unfold, the situation gets worse. Ukrainian drones enter the fight. These aren't the large military drones you often see in the media. These are small, unmanned aircraft. Many are built from commercial parts and cost between $500 and $1,000. But loaded with explosives, they've become one of the most effective weapons in this conflict. The first target is hit. The chaos begins. Notice the pattern that's forming. This isn't a random attack, this is a coordinated system where each element has a specific role. First, the mines. They stop the advance and break up the formation. Then, Javelin missiles cause immediate destruction and create confusion. And finally, small drones systematically finish off whatever's left. This is layered defense. The Russian column has hit the minefield. One tank tries to pull back but gets blown up by mines. Another vehicle spots the drone and destroys it with a direct hit. A second vehicle tries to keep moving but also gets hit by a drone. Russian soldiers now face an impossible tactical dilemma. Moving forward means running into mines and drones. Retreating exposes their rear. Staying put makes them sitting ducks. There's no good option. The operation continues. Concentrated Russian units try to drop off more soldiers. Ukrainian drones track every move. Another mine stops a vehicle. As the smoke clears, drones appear and start dropping explosives. Follow-up attacks eliminate any ability to respond. The military vehicle is completely wrecked and destroyed. When another vehicle tries to break through, drones are still hunting. There's no escape. Explosions rip the turret off the vehicle and launch it into the air. One vehicle manages to drop soldiers into a building, but it's a trap. When they try to leave, an RPG destroys the target. Ukrainian soldiers prepare for the next phase. First, drones strike the building, then RPG fire follows. From a distance, a precise shot destroys part of the structure. Those inside had no chance. 20 seconds of perfect coordination. Russian infantry didn't have time to set up defenses. That's the full system in action. Drones disorient, artillery destroys. Infantry finishes the job. Realizing the growing danger, Russian vehicles try to pull back. The first vehicle hits a mine. The others keep going. Ukrainian artillery tries to cut off the retreat, but can't hit everyone. Still, a Ukrainian soldier with a javelin finds his target. Another direct hit. The operation is completely wiped out. 6 vehicles went in. None completed the mission. Most didn't make it back. But political pressure from Moscow demands visible results, no matter the cost. Within hours, the Russians try again. Ukrainian reconnaissance aircraft spot 2 military vehicles and 17 infantry preparing to attack. Soldiers split into 3 groups and move in different directions. Ukrainian artillery opens fire. Panic sets in. Infantry scrambles for cover. One vehicle tries to retreat. Artillery fire intensifies. Regular shells and cluster munitions start falling. Cluster munitions work like this. Each shell breaks apart mid-air into dozens of smaller bomblets, blanketing an area the size of a football field. The zone becomes lethal for anyone in the open. One group gets spotted, coordinates get transmitted. Seconds later, a massive explosion sends shrapnel flying everywhere. More strikes follow. The operation's fate is sealed. Russian forces fail to capture a single position. This is the system's second layer, real-time coordination. Speed or troop numbers don't matter. Once the system locks onto a target, all resources focus on that point simultaneously. A Ukrainian drone detects Russian troop movement. Soldiers are moving along oil pipelines. They probably thought this area was a safe shelter. Within moments, Ukrainian drones appear. The first drone approaches the pipeline. No complex maneuvers, it moves forward in a controlled, steady line. It enters the strike zone. The pilot spots a defensive position ahead. Target destroyed. Mission complete. Immediately, the second drone launches. Pushing deeper into Russian defenses, an obstacle appears. The strike is carried out. Path is clear. The third drone bypasses the defenses. It penetrates the position and delivers the final blow. Mission complete. Ukrainian drones first hit Russian vehicles to prevent their escape. Each drone flies 1 attack per mission. Destroyed vehicles burn and become fragments of charred metal. Russian commanders know these tactics. They've seen the reports. They know that sending armored columns across open ground causes massive losses. But the alternative means admitting that decades of military doctrine became obsolete in just months. They keep sending columns, and soldiers keep dying.